to know all these things if you're gonna be, have the responsibility of actually ruling the world. You're gonna have to know everything.
If I can say, we ain't, like if somebody gets sick, we gotta be able to be like, oh, pick this herb, this will work. Let me get this. I got a little bit of this over here. Give it to you. You eat that, or you know, put it on the wound or whatever, and heal it. It's gonna be real information that we're learning in these days. Those are gonna be the miracles that you see. But everybody else is dying from a gunshot. But we know how to pull a bullet out and sew that up and make an ointment, paste a certain leaf or herb, cover it up.
That's a blessing in love.
That's part of these partially spiritual power.
That's healing.
But then to call on the name of the Heavenly Father will also make that be so. Because other men that don't have the ability to call on the name of the Heavenly Father, they can try them same things and it won't work. You know? I got that in the book of Solomon.
6 and then 21, I think.
Yeah, I got it. I'm gonna start up at 17. Yeah.
Like, this is what King Solomon prayed for before he even got the throne. He wanted wisdom. How he may what? How he may judge the people, man. When you become king, you over armies, captains, judges.
Yeah, everything.
You over the monetary system. Yeah. You over commerce, trade.
Everything gotta come through you.
Yeah, man.
If it don't directly come through you, it's come through somebody that you trust.
You gotta judge matters between people when a certain crime is committed. Yeah. You gotta be willing to examine the matter and issue righteous judgment.
And when you look at
this devil Esau, he's poor at that.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is just slap him some bread, or have a certain status, and he's gonna judge based off of that. You know.
I gotta preach what you just said real quick. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 15. But he that is spiritual judges all things, yet he himself is judged of no man.
And guess why? Because he's already judging himself.
So our people be saying, oh, only God can judge me, yada yada yada. Why are they saying that?
That's Hebrews.
No, that's this.
That's not right.
That's Hebrews.
Yeah, they got that from Tupac.
Between 2 and 6.
The niggas worship Tupac too much.
Yeah.
That whole attitude is basically let the Most High destroy me. I don't want you to tell me to get right. I don't need you to tell me
I don't want
about myself. I need confirmation from God that I'm going off.
Stop revealing my wickedness.
Yeah, exactly. That's basically what that means. You know, you can't correct or reprove somebody when they're in total error. You know, and it tells you our people are that's a statement of rebellious. Only God can judge. That's rebellion.
I heard that yesterday.
You wonder why Tupac got smoked. You know, judgment. It comes with this. It comes with discernment. You gotta be spiritually discerned when you judge. You gotta have what you call acumen to be able to judge accurately in situations. You gotta have that skill. That's the skill that judges have. That's the skill that a king is supposed to have. All right.
I got a quick analogy to go with that. I always love giving this one. Let's say a thief, right? If you're a klepto and you just like stealing, are you gonna judge them the same way as somebody stealing to feed themselves? Both stealing. I'm asking, what do y'all think? Can you judge that the same? You can't judge it the same. You know? Different purpose. Yes, this is the sun.
See, when we get into power and rulership, the skies will never look like this, man.
There ain't no fucking gray clouds, bro.
It'll never look like this.
You can see how it's
look better.
Kind of coming down. You know?
Look better.
Straight up, it's just straight up pollution, and we gotta bring that shit in. You know, under our dominion, we ain't gotta have to worry about this, man.
You you had that scripture Hebrews Z. It's like
Yes, Hebrews.
like 6 and like
Oh, 6.
I know it might be like 2 or something like that.
What y'all looking for?
Judge Andrews.
No, that's Corinthians.
6. That's
1
6.
Corinthians 6.
1 Corinthians 6.
Yeah.
Oh, the other one, the angel not giving you that. 6 and like 2.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 2. Do ye not know that the saints shall judge the world? And if the world be judged by you, are ye worthy to be judged to judge the smallest matters? Know ye not that we shall judge angels? How much more things that pertain to this life?
And everything that the scriptures say, that's why you know that religion, like the chick came here talking about religion, that religion has perverted this word. It's not the same thing as the true word of the Most High God. Because they judge not. Well, everything that that's talking about judging is about proper judgment and balanced judgment. Judge not, lest you be judged by the same matter. You know, like it's always telling you, no, you need to judge. That's why you have wisdom. I gotta read up when I read this Wisdom of Solomon. But you learn balance on how to use that wisdom to judge the right way. That's what it's about.
And who's the lawgiver, man?
Yeah.
You know?
Heavenly Father.
Allah Shemal Shah.
That's right.
You know, through the law, statutes, commandments, man.
You judge by the law.
Yeah.
You go to the court and they tell you, okay, well, this is the crime that you committed. Okay, well, under law, this is the charge that you have to take. You know, this is the judgment on that for that. You know,
And see, that's why that analogy is so good, because I was watching a video the other day, and he looked like an Edomite, but whatever, you know, redneck guy, whatever. He said the way when the forefathers wrote it, it was about the spirit of the law, not by the letter of the law. They judge their own people by the spirit of the law in small towns and all of that. But they like it said to serve and protect. If you find an 18-year-old kid drunk and driving around, you don't take him to jail. You take him home, right? But you see a Jake in these inner cities and all of that, drunk driving, what do you do? You go in the jail and you go to look at him. You know? It's a difference like that. They judge him by the letter, throw the sick at him, as they say, versus judging by the spirit of the law. You got that, both.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 6 at the top. Dare any of you, having a matter against another, go to the law before the unjust?
Because there's always a discrepancy between whether it's two people or a system or the government and you. However, the judgment has to be arbitrated. You go to the law to figure out who's right and who's wrong.
And not before the saints.
That was
I got something to back that up. Matthew chapter 23, verse 23. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For ye pay tithe of mint and anise and cumin, and have omitted the weightier matters of the law.
They bribe in judgment. They're perverted in judgment.
they left out the weightier matters of the law, man.
Yep.
You know, they left things, fundamental things that make up their position. They basically left that out, man. You know, they left it out. Go ahead.
Judgment, mercy, and
Judgment.
faith.
Judgment, which means to make a wise decision according to the law, man. You can't, a person can't commit a crime.
There's no law against it.
And there's a law against it, but you give them what you want instead of what the law says to judge them on. You know, their particular punishment or penalty. Esau does that all the time, man. You know, a crime that Jake, if a Jake commit a certain crime, he can get years behind bars, as opposed to if an Edomite commits the same crime, he might just get probation.
Because his father is a congressman.
Right.
Yeah. Get that secret handshake in court or whatever the case may be.
Straight up, man. And that judgment is very partial. You know, like if you have a poor Jake commit, you know, a certain thing and he's innocent, they ain't even got no evidence. They'll still lock him away. But the Jake with money, he has a chance to buy a lawyer, so the lawyer represent for him, and he has a better chance to get out of it than the poor man, even though the poor man was innocent.
We was talking about the
But that the person that had money, he could be very guilty of his crime.
and they'll hit the poor man would take the plea bargain because he's scared of what Esau do to him.
That's unrighteousness and judgment, man. All right, you're supposed to be fair, man. Go ahead, Al.
And have omitted the weightier matters of the law, judgment, mercy.
Mercy, that's another one. You gotta have mercy, man. See, Esau, he's relentless with it, man. He shows no mercy, especially when it comes to Jake, man. You know, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. He shows no mercy to you, man. You know, none. He's quick to throw the book at you, always.
He's quick to make the example out of you.
Knowing Jake grow up in the fucking ghetto with no jobs, you know, no way to support himself but to sell drugs. You know, it's like you in the fucking pit. That's why he called the system.
There's no way to come up.
Right. Why didn't Bill Cosby get the same mercy of fucking Harvey Weinstein? You know, or what's the other guy that ran? Kavanaugh. Why he didn't get the same mercy as these guys, man?
And both incidents happened years ago.
And the only evidence that you have was the word of mouth on both case scenarios.
It's not like they had extra, you know.
It wasn't no DNA evidence or nothing like that, you know, convicting them. You just ran off of what these women said. But you have more respect to the white man because this system that you created was set up for the benefit of your kind and to be oppressive against us. There ain't no true judgment here in this place, man. Go ahead, Al.
And faith. These
and faith. Go ahead.
These ought ye to have done, and not to leave the other undone.
That's plain, man. Yahweh was cussing them out, getting on their hypocrisy, man, because the wicked scribes and Pharisees, they didn't have any of those things, man. But yet they was claiming that they were, you know, they were perfect men, like they were keeping the laws, you know, being holier than thou. But they were being hypocrites. They were phonies, man. Teaching, you know, putting the burden of keeping the law on others while they themselves was breaking the law. You know? He was holding?
I was holding Wisdom of Solomon. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that. Go ahead, bro.
I got you. Because you touched on a lot of something in here that I wanted.
You say start at the top.
Yeah. Not at the top. I didn't say. Let's see.
Like around what?
No.
16,
Yeah,
17,
might as well.
maybe.
6.
Yeah, I gotta read it at the top. Wisdom of Solomon.
Yeah.
6 and 1. Hear therefore, O ye kings, and understand. Learn ye that be judges of the ends of the earth. That's what we're learning to be, right?
Okay.
It says, give ear, you that rule the people, and glory unto the multitude of nations. For power is given you of the Lord Yahweh, and what is that word? I can't read it.
Sovereignty.
Oh, it's sovereignty from the highest. I gotta learn it. It's spelled differently in this book. Sovereignty from the highest.
And you know what that link up with? Romans 13. Even though in particular applied to Esau as the Roman Empire and his kingdom, but that just goes to show you when the Lord sets up kings, He ordained those kings. And He gives that king power, man.
That's in was that 1 Peter the 5th chapter.
Yeah. You know, and He even told that He told that to I don't know if it was Nebuchadnezzar or if it was his son after him, because he started to get that pride, and he basically, the Most High told him through Daniel, like, hey, I'm the one that, I'm responsible for why you have all those armies, why you have cupbearers, You know, why you have maids and servants. I'm the reason why you have all this jurisdiction over all these provinces. You know, at your request, I can make sure your nation, your army, take out these people. You know, I could. Matter of fact, get it real quick, and then we're gonna go right back to that. Daniel 5.
Yep.
Go to Daniel 5 real quick.
It was after the prophecy. Dreaming first.
Yeah, Daniel 5 and start at
It's cool how he said it, yeah.
Start at like man, this whole chapter.
Yeah, read it.
But yeah, you can go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Daniel chapter 5, verse 1. Belshazzar the king made a great feast to 1,000 of his lords, and drank wine before the 1,000. Belshazzar, whilst he tasted the wine, commanded to bring the golden and silver vessels which his father Nebuchadnezzar had taken out of the temple, which was in Jerusalem.
They was getting ready to have an impious feast, a feast unto idols. All right, the image, you know, they had false idols, and the Babylonians, just like Esau, they try to force you to bow down to their idols, man, worship it. So they were having a feast right here. All right, go ahead.
That the kings and his princes, his wives and his concubines might drink therein.
So a king has all that. You got wives, you got concubines, you got slaves, all right? You got wine, you got all that shit, man. Go ahead.
Then they brought the golden vessels that were taken out of the temple of the house of the Most High, which was at Jerusalem.
Basically, all the precious jewels that they stole out of the temple of Solomon, or the first temple, when the Babylonians came in and you know, they ransacked it. They used that and put on that feast to start worshiping before their idols, man. They was basically taking the same goods that we used to dedicate to the Heavenly Father in the temple. They was using it to dedicate it to their false idols, man. Go ahead, Al.
And the king and his princes and his wives and his concubines drank in them. They drank wine, they praised the gods of gold and silver, of brass, of iron, of wood, and of stone.
Go ahead.
In the same hour came forth fingers of a man's hand and wrote over against the candlestick upon In the same hour came forth fingers in a man's hand and wrote over against the candlestick upon the plaster of the wall of the king's palace. And the king saw the part of the hand that wrote, when the king's countenance was changed, and his thoughts troubled him, so that the joints of his loins were loosed, and his knees smote one against another.
Oh shit.
The king cried aloud to bring in the...
He damn near fainted.
The king cried aloud
because the dude was he was too wrapped up in his pride, man.
Yeah.
All right. A lot of kings, they get beside themselves and they forget that it was the Most High that set them up. Like Esau, he thinks that he got all this on his own. Like I'm the world's most intelligent,
Esau,
smartest. You know, I set the curriculum and the educational system. Our IQ is out the roof. We're the most smartest, intelligent people. You know, they make it seem like everybody else is dumb. And we got manifest destiny.
Esau think he's self-made.
Yeah, man.
Then he thinks he's self-made.
Yeah.
Might lead him to destruction.
Yeah, well, hey, that same sentiment the king of Babylon had. And that's why when you read in Psalms 137, Edom is the daughter of Babylon, because the same characteristics that made the king of Babylon, you can find in Esau.
Yeah.
That's why he's known as the daughter of Babylon, man. All right? He holds the same persona of ancient Babylon. Go ahead, man.
The king cried aloud to bring in the astrologers the Chaldeans, and the soothsayers. And the king spoke and said to the wise men of Babylon, whomsoever shall read this writing and show me the interpretation thereof shall be clothed with scarlet and have a chain of gold about his neck.
Hey, scarlet is a tough color to make. Back in the day, you actually have to find the flowers or whatever, or the berries or whatever, to
Use
make
the
the
dye,
dye,
yeah.
to dye the garment. That was a lot of work. You know, so only somebody worthy of a king would have scarlet and purple. And that purple was another tough color to make.
And shall be the third ruler in the kingdom. Then came all the king's wise men, but they could not read the writing, nor make known to the king the interpretation thereof.
Yeah, they couldn't understand it. So that's why the Lord eventually ended up using Prophet Daniel.
Yeah.
All right, he had the Holy Spirit to be able to interpret, you know, the letters, the dreams that they had.